So the Mexican government has implemented a 20.1% hike in the cost of a liter of gasoline in the country, and that has, well, resulted in a number of protests across the country. The announcement of the price increase came on January the 1st when long queues of cars were already forming at pump stations because the National Oil Corporation, Pemex, was unable to supply all gas stations due to problems with refining and fuel shortages occasioned by theft. Government officials, however, have been defending the latest price increase, say it's necessary to cover shortfalls in the federal budget, which traditionally depends on oil revenues. Protests over the price hike have erupted into looting of gas stations and stores in various parts of Mexico on Wednesday, with dozens of businesses shut down and jeopardizing fuel supplies across the country. Okay, let's look at the world of oil as we speak right now. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates are three oil-producing states complying already with the January 1st deadline to shave production outputs among member states by as much as 1.7 million barrels, including non-OPEC member Russia. Let's get a bit of this news as we look at the price. And the OPEC Compliance Committee set to meet on January 21st and 22nd in Vienna. Odima Kwesa is a research analyst at financial derivatives company here in Lagos and on Skype. Thank you, Adim. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, boss.
Yeah, thank you. It looks like some good news. Well, we have a lot of countries to comply with the cutback, but at least we have Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the UAE already complying. So what does that tell us about expectations for the compliance meeting scheduled to meet on the 21st and 22nd this month?
Yes, indeed. I think those are a handful of countries, and it demonstrates that producers are willing, ready to see oil prices higher. The meeting is taking place to ensure that producers do not cheat and actually adhere to their commitments. Saudi, like you said, Saudi, Kuwait, Oman, and the UAE have already started customers that need to reduce food shipments, already started implementing measures. So I think that's all positive. There are also wildcards like Iraq. Iraq has said there are reports emerged that Iraq wants to increase exports. So that is a wildcard, and the oil minister has been vague. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Well, on the price side of things, looks like, well, one step forward, not too much of two steps backward in the last, since January the 1st, it looks like the crude is holding on to the 50, well, slightly above 50, 55, still a shy of 60, a little bit of 58 we saw, and a bit of a cut of a pullback. Yeah, from there. Do you think this is how things will continue for the rest of the month?
I think so. I think oil prices, we should expect oil prices to be extremely volatile until the actual signs of compliance. Maybe that's until end of this month of February. I think because that just shows that there are lots of risks, there are lots of moving parts that regarding this OPEC deal, and there are lots of risks. For example, now Libya and Nigeria. Libya, there are already signs that Libya is already increasing production. Libya increased production by 50% in December, and it could increase further in January. And also Nigeria, there are also positive signs that we can increase our own production too in January. And also the prospect of shale production increasing if oil prices significantly increase, and also the stronger dollar. That just demonstrates the number of risks that have to do with this OPEC deal. And also there's this issue of compliance. We don't know if all these countries would actually compliance. There are a lot of loopholes in this deal, so these countries can actually cheat and increase production.
Okay, Odima Kwesa, I'm sure we will continue to have this conversation. Thank you very much for your time. The key question we'll be asking you perhaps next time is whether this is comply first, cheat later. Odima Kwesa, research analyst at financial derivatives company here in Lagos. Okay, if you look at the map of West Africa, you find Benin and Togo squeezed in between Nigeria and Ghana, two oil-producing countries. But the residents in Togo, one of the small West African economies in Lomé, has welcomed the move by the government to import cleaner fuel into the country. Togo is one of 5 African nations that announced a ban on the importation of fuels with high levels of sulfur from European manufacturers that are exploiting the weak regulatory policies in the West African region.
Togo recently announced that it will ban the importation of dirty fuels from European manufacturers after a recent report revealed the European companies have been exploiting the weak regulatory policies in the West African region to export fuels with high levels of sulfur. Togo joins Nigeria, Benin, Ghana and Ivory Coast, all of whom agreed on the import ban of fossil fuels with high levels of sulfur. The World Health Organization considers sulfur particles emitted by diesel engines as one of the major contributors to air pollution. Studies have shown that sulfur is responsible for a number of health conditions, including heart disease, lung cancer, and respiratory illnesses such as asthma or bronchitis.
We must forbid that. It is also risky and it is dangerous for the people. That is a very good decision because toxic fuel causes too much damage.
In Togo, many have backed the decision, especially those who say their cars have been damaged by toxic fuel.
We often have to change the engines which are damaged by the toxic fuel, which is the fuel that is used here. And all of this really affects our work. People often have to change their car engines because of the damage, and when you change a new car's engine with an old one, you have to put an engine that supports the fuel that is used from here. That's the problem.
Air pollution can be a problem in the heavy traffic typical with some of Africa's biggest metropolises. In September last year, a BBC report criticized 5 Swiss firms for their involvement in the exportation and sale of dirty fuels in Africa, even though their sulfur levels were considered too toxic for European markets.
With that decision, we will be more watchful and insist that the government respects this commitment, because it's one thing to make that decision, it's another to implement it. We must also establish checkpoints and a better monitoring system to control the quality of fuel that is imported and that comes through at the airport, as well as the petrol stations and in the distribution of fuel.
Outside of West Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda and Morocco have all increased fuel quality requirements in recent years. But better quality drives up costs, and with many nations facing severe shortages in public finances, analysts say they are wary of angering people with higher pump prices.
Okay, saving lives and money in Lomé, Togo. Let's leave it there for today. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Do have a great day, and bye for now.